Tigers. We got pregame at 5:30, made possible by Bert Ogden Auto Group, Hank Assad, DHR Health Orthopedic Institute, and our Fighting Texas A&M family. It's rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. Yep, that's right. The budget battles, not in the capital, but not in the capital of America, but the state of Texas. And everybody's talking about cutting property taxes. But does that actually mean, Davis, does that actually mean anything? Joining us on 710 KURV is Garrett Fulce, who is a Republican political strategist based in Sugarland. He's got his own podcast called Seeing Red, and a Young Voices contributor, and he joins us now. And real quick, did I get your last name right? It's Fulce?
It's Fulce, but I get called far worse all the time. So
Hello?
It's fine. Can you hear me?
Garrett.
Did we lose him?
Yeah. I
We
can
can't hear.
y'all.
1 second.
I'm pointing to my ear.
He's pointing to his ear
That's
too,
right.
David.
So, we're going to Mars, but we can't get audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Go back to cutting yourself off. We don't. Never mind.
Okay.
Davis.
So I'll quit.
Okay. It's Fulce, yes?
It's pronounced false, but I've been called far worse by many people in the political world. So it's always okay to call me whatever.
So property taxes. You've got a write up in the Houston Chronicle about ending the property tax in Texas. Well, tell me what you cut first, because they should be reducing spending, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you're gonna have people come on the stump, right? Because the filing deadline for all these Texas offices is going to be in early December. People are already out campaigning. We're seeing it everywhere. But we're already starting to hear, we got to end property taxes. Great. Fantastic. It drives 75% plus of local revenue. So tell me what you want them to cut. You want them to cut police? You want them to cut teachers? You want to cut? What do you want to cut? Feel free to tell me. Tell me what you want to do. Because that's going to be the real fight. It's not that we don't want to have lower taxes. It's that we want you to figure out and tell us how you're going to cut those, what you're going to cut first, so that we can kind of figure that out.
Yeah, because something else has to go up if property taxes goes down, right? And what is that thing?
No.
Well, historically, it's been sales taxes. Like, you got to keep in mind, Texas has like fiddled around with the property tax like since 1947. They started to get rid of the statewide. There used to be a statewide property tax. They started getting rid of it in 1947. They got rid of it in 1982, 1984-ish. And immediately after that, they increased the sales tax by more than 50%, the statewide sales tax. So it's always going to be the sales tax because, we have constitutional amendments. If you're right now, there's early voting. You're going to see the vote here signs. Go in to vote for your constitutional amendments. Several of them deal with like banning taxes Texas has never had, so that no one can go in the future and figure out a new way to tax us. Which, great, go vote for that. But it doesn't really fix anything right here now. And that problem is always there are two like sacraments in the religion of government, and that's taxing and it's spending. And it doesn't really matter what party you are or if you're not part of a party at all. Like those are your two sacraments that you have to kind of, give fealty to when you're in government, and they don't really want to cut either of them.
Joining us on 710 KURV is Garrett Fulce, who has an article in the Houston Chronicle, and we're talking about property taxes and spending in the state of Texas. Davey, your question, go ahead.
Well, just as what would you? I'm opposed to raising the sales tax. I'll start it this way because it would hit us disproportionately here in the Rio Grande Valley, these four counties, but maybe you can say south of San Antonio. Mm-hmm. So property taxes they complain about and their values may be too high even now, but you dump a sales tax to make up that difference, man, it's a lot. We're poor down here. By and large, this is a poor area or certainly moderate income. But I don't know what the shot callers in Austin think, because I read the same stuff. We got to do away with the property tax, but they never say what they're going to replace it with.
Well, and when they do, it's always an increased sales tax. And then if they start really talking about it, there might be something called a VAT, a value-added tax. Oh. Those are the two ones you're going to hear about, because that's something that they do in other parts of the world that we don't do in America. But it's just another way of doing sales tax throughout the value chain.
Yeah.
But whether it's the Valley, whether it's East Texas, where I'm originally from, I'm from a city that has about 25,000 people. we're a sister city for the county seat. So most of the business, all the retail is in the county seat. You know, we have some stuff in Denison, but we don't really have the same stuff. So if we were to go to a full sales tax system, communities outside of county seats and outside of major metros are going to have a harder time generating the revenue to build the roads. And that's inevitably going to have to be replaced by state funding, the way they kind of do it now with all sorts of stuff. So yeah, the money's going to have to be spent. It doesn't have to be spent, actually. And that's the thing. Where are you going to cut? Because there's all sorts of bloat in government when it comes to, are we spending too much on, and these are open questions, on education or on transportation? Some would say, no, we need to spend more. Okay, the same question arises. Where are we going to pull that money from to pay for it? Because if you look at Texas comparatively, I don't have the citation in front of me, so I apologize. But if you look at like how individuals are taxed by their state and local governments, Texas ranks in the top 10 of being one of the best places to live, combined, even you kind of look at the numbers the right way. And it's twice as good, or twice or half as much as, you know, East Coast states like Illinois and New York and Vermont, liberal East Coast states and Midwest states. But all of that to say, you know, it gets back to this point is you can cut taxes, cut them, because maybe that'll force people to start to tighten their belts. But that tightening of the belt still going to be, what are you going to cut? You need to start talking about what are you going to cut.
And it's interesting too, because every legislative session that we've had for a long time, they always, you know, they're popping bottles and patting themselves on the back that, hey, we cut taxes. And then when it came to property taxes, everybody agrees that we needed to cut taxes, but nobody could agree on what or how to get that done. That happens every session. And now the conversation is, okay, well, if we plug this hole here, this other geyser is going to pop out. And so now we're playing whack-a-mole with the taxes, and we gotta figure out somehow to keep everything low, and that's not going to happen with the budget.
No, I mean, the budget's billions upon billions of dollars. I mean, it's a lot of money, like billion here, billion there. Sooner or later, it's real money, right? Like Texas spent, I think, a massive amount on this new film incentive to bring Hollywood types to Texas.
Wait a minute. Now you're going to meddling, from preaching to meddling. I like that. I like that.
You wanted to explain first?
Oh, and that's fine.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
I apologize.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I'm just
not
saying
fine.
is,
Please continue.
There's all sorts of spending that people can disagree about, and that's kind of my point. Which is, yeah, if you want to, there's people love the different people, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, across the board will like certain programs and dislike certain programs. You know, historically, Republicans have loved spending on the military, and Democrats have historically loved spending on social services like Social Security and education. And a lot of people in between kind of like both, right? That's just kind of how it moves back and forth at the national level. You know, that is what I'm talking about. If you start cutting, people are going to like it. And then the same people who were cheering for you was you rallied to say, we got to cut property taxes. We got to end this. Will be, you know, have their pitchforks out ready to take you down because you fired all the teachers and they're a teacher, or you just fired all the teachers and they like their teacher. You know, like that's the kind of the problem we run into is if you can talk all you want, you can meddle with things, you can tweak this and that, but the real question comes down to what are our priorities with spending? And if you're just going to go out and lie to people and say, like, we're just going to end property taxes or we're going to do this, but really you're just moving that burden somewhere else, what have you really done?
Garrett, thank you so much. Check out his article in the Houston Chronicle, and it is titled, "End the Property Tax in Texas. Tell me what you'll cut first." That's Garrett Fulce with Young Voices and host of Seeing Red, the Texas Politics podcast, joining us on 710 KURV.